of course, it was huge, like pain to think that if my husband is in jail, if I'm jailed as well, my children will be sent to orphanage. So it was my decision to send them preliminarily out of the country, just in case I'm in jail, they will be safe. So, but of course, regime plays very, good with these women emotions, because when I was, kidnapped by KGB, and they told me that you have to leave the country, otherwise we will find your children, we will punish them for your actions, and you have to leave the country because you cannot stay here. And maybe it's a shame, but at that moment I chose my internal mother chose children. I decided to flee the country to have possibility to continue this fight from abroad, but not being jailed, because free you can do much more than just sitting in a cold cell, having no rights. So, but of course, children is powerful instruments of blackmailing for dictators.
Women in my country, women in authoritarian regimes, normally they don't raise to be a political leader. It's not just about you. A lot of countries, women are being second-class citizens. So you actually, you were born in a small village, correct?
Yeah.
And your life was impacted by Chernobyl. Well, I want to know about first of all, your childhood, because when I grew up in a small village in authoritarian regimes, I didn't have any image of women fighting for freedom or democracy or feminism, equality, nothing. So for me, it was just reading books or even cartoons in my childhood, giving me picture of different society, different world, that women can be free, women can be bosses, women can be, you know what I mean? So tell me about your childhood. How was your childhood? And I want to know about the transition. That's why it is important to know about your story, your mother, your parents, and your time growing up in a small village.
No, I have the same situation as you. Nobody thought about, this high values, freedom, democracy. Just lived your small life. Mm-hmm. But I think that values that your family invested into you, contributed into you, that value of human dignity, that you have to take care about other people. They just, you brought this feeling, through whole your life. In Belarus also, people have never discussed values. They have never discussed, human rights or democracy. We didn't know what it is because we never had the opportunity to compare what is democracy, what is dictatorship. We lived as we could live, and I think internet played a huge role in development of any nation, because you can see how other nations live.
But our childhood and your childhood, we were not able to access internet. I remember that reading books at school were telling me that Americans are monsters. People in the West, they are wild. Yeah, trust me. It was we had to say death to America, death to United Kingdom, death to all European countries. But secretly reading, watching American cartoons, reading American books, reading, not American, reading history of free world, opened my eyes. That's why actually when I was very young, I got arrested when I was a teenager because of reading forbidden books. I want to know that how life looked like in Soviet Belarus for you and your fellow, classmates in your childhood.
Actually, you're right. Internet came rather late in Belarus. It was already after 2000. And in school, we were obedient pupils, obedient children. Nobody maybe taught us how to analyze, how to compare. We just read the books that were ordered to read by regime. You didn't have access to foreign newspapers or like foreign media. Only maybe later Radio Free Europe appeared, some broadcasting from abroad, alternative newspapers maybe sometimes. But of course it always the same as with your experience, we always were told that it's rotten West. Their values are rotten. Our nation is the best. Yes, you live rather bad. Our economic situation is not very good, but it's much better to live in Soviet, mood, because liberty is something very dirty, something like this.
Wow.
So when we grew up in this environment and even didn't dare, to think about better future. It was good experience for many Belarusian children. Of course, Chernobyl, it was disaster, but it gave opportunity for children to travel to different countries according to Chernobyl programs. For example, when I was 14, I visited Ireland for the first time, Europe. I couldn't imagine that there are societies where people smile into each other, where people are happy, where people enjoy wonderful clothes or eating tasty food, because we didn't have all this in Belarus. And it maybe is the first time when you started to think there is a difference.
Wow.
It's not rotten. It's such I remember how for the first time I tasted ketchup or Pringles. We have never had this in Belarus. So that's why you start maybe unconsciously think and compare and analyze that something is wrong with the place where you live. So, many children at that moment managed to travel to see Germany, Italy, and it also influenced their way of thinking.
I got goosebumps. It's after disaster, after Chernobyl, you had the opportunity to experience freedom, like a normal life. Let's put it that way. And then you decided. I think that helped you to become a teacher, correct? English teacher.
Yes, I was studied as English teacher in the university. Maybe it influenced. Yeah.
Yes. And how did that help you? What being a teacher help you for transition from a maybe housewife, as the dictator said, to a leader? Or no, that was one tool, because you knew English.
Maybe being a teacher didn't help me a lot in this transformation, political transformation, because maybe language helped me to communicate very fast with democratic Western world on their language. But I think I had very big lesson in my life. My older child, my older son, is a child with the personal needs, and it took me 10 years to rehabilitate him. So every day I have been working with him, trying to reach the goal, normality. And I didn't know if this difficult way of rehabilitation will bring me to the results. I didn't know when the light at the end of the tunnel will appear, but I knew that every day I have to work hard to save my child. The same with fighting against dictatorship. You don't know when dictatorship will be dismantled, when changes will come to a country, but every day you have to work hard to raise attention about the problem, to raise attention about political prisoners, loss of independence, so on and so forth. And it just it made me rather sustainable in difficulties.
Yeah. When you were talking about experiencing normal life, it just came to my mind that I was not a teenager or child when for the first time I experienced freedom. And my sister, it was Lebanon, the country, neighbor. My first experience was I went there, and then I didn't cover my hair because I was not forced to cover my hair. And then immediately when I saw the police walking path, I got scared, looking for my headscarf to cover my head. And I was like, no, here it's okay. Like all women are unveiled. And it was like, wow, even in free land, I had this, like, I got panic. And still, many times you won't believe me. When police follows me in the street, I feel like, wow, here police are protecting me. But in my country, when police follows me, it means that they want to kill me. So when I have this freedom here, I feel the guilt in my burden that my people don't have this freedom. So now, when you are advocating for people in Belarus, people in authoritarian regimes, but you enjoy freedom in the West, you're meeting with leaders, you're meeting with fellow activists, you're meeting with journalists, with media. When you see freedom, do you have this, like, I don't want to say that, but do you have this feeling, the guilt that I am free, but people who join me and my campaign in the street, they go to prison?
I think that this kind of guilt is always with me, because you understand that for simple actions, for subscribing on free channels or reading honest news or supporting Ukraine or saying a word against Lukashenko is like straight path to prison in the country. And that is why, I understand why I want to reach this freedom for everyone in Belarus. This is like my engine, in me, who's pushing me forward.
I love that, because
I want every person in Belarus to feel that, as you say, police is protection, not punishment, that government is taking care of people, not of their pockets. And just to understand it, you have to experience this. And, one of our mission, I suppose, myself, Maria Machado, also to explain to people who live in free world their value of freedom.
Exactly.
Because every often they forget, they don't realize that people are sacrificing their lives and their freedom for these values. And they sometimes even don't understand. They sometimes even don't believe you that what atrocities are people experiencing in Belarus or Iran or Afghanistan, and it's very important to remind them that you have to cherish what you have.
Exactly. Look, the thing that I want to tell you, it's something very brutal and it's really difficult that I don't want to sometimes think about it or talk about it. But the regime in my country brought 51 people on state television, including my own family, to denounce me, to disown me, to say nasty words about me, that Masih lives miles away from Iran in America, safe, shelter, and making money, but she's calling you to go to the street. And that kind of guilt is a tool in the hand of the regime, try to actually put on you and tell you that you are the problem. So but what gave me the power to not break because of the guilt on my shoulder, was the brave women. They were going on TV denouncing me, but publicly, immediately when they go free from prison, talking publicly about it, that we did that to just get out of jail. But I have agency. I made decision myself, and Masih is just echoing our voice. Masih is just giving us voice. So what gives you hope? Because I saw your picture with Maria. Tell me the story, because I see that how you hold hand with women. Is this something that gives you power to overcome the guilt, the fear, the doubt? For me, women in my country.
Honestly, I have discovered bravery in myself and women of Belarus also in 2020, because it was the women of Belarus who stood in front of the police with nothing but flowers and dignity. In Iran, women are moving hijabs, despite knowing that they may be beaten or killed. From Belarus to Iran, women are not only part of democratic struggle, they are leading it. And I think that actual authoritarian regimes are they fear women, because a woman with courage is stronger than a man with a gun. And our role of women is no more symbolic. It is it's strategic. It is essential. It's unstoppable, and dictators fall when women rise. I think so. And this power of women, also give me such strength that we are not just, shadow of our men.
Exactly.
We are like leading these processes. And honestly, for this this 5-year political path, I really met so many powerful women. Yes, many of them are in democratic world, but it's so important to see how women of the world supporting women who are struggling.
Yeah.
For example, I think that you also can name plenty of names like Roberta Metsola or Kaya Kallas or Ursula von der Leyen or Senator Shaheen, Masih, Madeleine Albright, Speaker Nancy Pelosi. I have met so many women whose hearts really bleeding, for women who are dying, who are suffering, but continuing to fight.
We need a women coalition, and I think this is very, very important to find like-minded women and create a female-led political front, because I'm telling you, my sister, a lot of time we have been told, mostly by men, that women cannot work together. You know that, like, women are jealous. Women are pushing each other back behind the boundaries. Women are doing this. No. I have seen, as you said, in Belarus, women holding hand. Your image, like holding hand with women, creating a female-led coalition, inspired us. A lot of time when, as you see, women burning headscarves in Iran, or when I'm telling you the story of women denouncing me on TV, but going on their own social media and saying that, hey, this is the regime should feel guilty, not us women echoing each other's voice, holding each other's hand. So maybe time has come for women like you to create a female-led coalition and unite all women across authoritarian regime to work together. But as you said, with democratic women, what do you think about this?
Of course, women have to be loud for each other, especially when our voices are silent. We must show up when others, look away. And I think that coalition of such women is a fantastic idea. We have to stand together for women of Iran, Afghanistan, Ukraine, Belarus, because your fight is our fight. In our perception, solidarity is not just a word. It's a network.
It is a
network of trust, sharing tactics, for example, amplifying our personal stories, opening doors for each other. So we have to build, of course, this our own international alliance of women who refuse to live under dictatorship. Fantastic idea. You're so creative. You're so pushy. So take this idea in your hand. Masih, I know that you achieve everything.
Okay, I will definitely reach out to you and Maria Corina Machado and a lot of female leaders that you named. We need to create this female-led coalition. I'm telling you why. My sister, dictators have different tools to spread misinformation, disinformation. Dictators are working together to train each other how to use military weapons, technology surveillance. You made it clear that there is a network of dictators. And that's why it is necessary to have a network of leaders, network of freedom fighters, which we actually created, World Liberty Congress, where we united dissidents from 56 authoritarian regimes. But here we are. I feel like women are receiving different attacks and bullies from dictators. I want to give you an example about my case. I was just watching Iranian state television saying that Masih Alinejad was raped by 3 men in front of her son. First of all, my sister, that was a misinformation. But second of all, if I was raped, it was not my fault. But you see the mindset of dictators? So they actually shared a porn video of me. Guess when? That was the time when I was with you on a stage at Davos conference. Mm-hmm. Immediately when I came out, a porn video was everywhere. And the journalists, instead of asking me about my participation in Davos conference, they were asking about my porn video, sex video. So immediately I realized that, wow, it's just because I'm a woman, I'm receiving these attacks. I started to talk about it. Then I found women from Azerbaijan. One of my fellow dissidents, Bhuta, were telling me the same story. I found women from Hong Kong. I found women from Afghanistan being attacked by the same narrative that you are a corrupted woman, you are a whore, oh, you were raped. And I was like, wow. Now when I see that my fellow activists and dissidents from other authoritarian regimes being like under sexually harassment attack online, downplaying like housewife. So women receive different kind of bullies in society and online. So tell me about Belarusian dictators. What kind of tactic they use to actually attack women, especially women like you who believe that women can work together, women can stand together. How they try to divide you women and how they attack you personally as a woman.
No, I think that dictators sharing all their tactics, their aim is to demonize leaders and to show them in very bad light. Yeah. For example, in my personal case, while my husband was in prison, they always fed him with information that I'm cheating with other men, that I'm pregnant from different men, that I forgot about him, I'm not waiting for him, so on and so forth. And it's only a strong person can have power not believe, this propaganda. For other people, they say that democratic forces stealing money, they buying penthouses for themselves, they're traveling, they don't take care of you. They just want people to mistrust, to disbelieve in our fight. And, it's much more easier, to humiliate women using this, sexual aspect, or you are a bad mother, you are different things. So, but I think that societies that want changes, that they believe in their fight, they will not be able to be poisoned by these narratives.
Wow.